What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be a girl? What does it mean to be a woman, a wife, a mother, a caretaker? And how does one unite such complex characteristics within a conflict zone and still maintain a sense of self? In northern Uganda, where family is the most important part of life, and the decades-old conflict has in large part centered around the Lord's Resistance Army's destruction of families, women are the ones who struggle to keep family and culture together. They are the backbone not just of the family, but in many ways, the country itself. Women bear the brunt of domestic labor, the cooking, cleaning, washing, and tending to the home. They also take on the majority of child-rearing responsibilities, nurturing, shaping, and showing them what it means to be a chole. Women also share a large portion of the economic stress, as they are the ones who spend more time tending the land, harvesting the crops, and preparing and selling goods at the market. There is little to no rest for these women. Their days begin at sunup and end well past sundown. Thus it seems the best way to define the women of northern Uganda is through their strength and resilience. Yet these women, who struggle to maintain family, home, and cultural identity during the height of the conflict, are most often viewed in their own society as weak and less important than men. When questioned about gender roles within a chole society, many people will answer simply that they feel men and women are equal. But that answer seems to have been conditioned in them, as their everyday actions speak to a much larger gender divide. After a long discussion on women's roles in northern Uganda, Irene, a 25-year-old primary school teacher, pronounced that women are not as good as men because they do not have reason. As Irene's comment shows, somehow there is a disconnect that allows incredibly strong women to live within and help maintain a system that is ultimately based on keeping them subordinate. As the women of a chole land do not believe that they are equal to men, how can they ever work to garner the respect they deserve? The society runs on a foundation of hard-working, powerful women who seem to have almost no say in what their future holds. Even women who have access to education, like Irene, still feel that while their education is important, the real marker for becoming a woman is to marry and have children. One of the most interesting perspectives is that of the life of a young girl who is on the verge of becoming a woman. Trying to peer into the life of a 13-year-old girl from an internally displaced person camp is a complex lesson on the interplay of strength and submission that exists within the familial structure. By working with a young girl named Betty from the Pulenga camp, I was better able to fully understand the scope of the lives of women in northern Uganda. At the age of 3, Betty moved to Pulenga camp with her mother after her father died in the conflict. Growing up in the camp, Betty was in and out of school, as even public school fees were often too much for her family to afford. She would frequently have to drop out and farm in order to raise the funds herself. As peace begins to take hold in northern Uganda, Betty's mother has been able to return back to the family land 2.5 kilometers away from the camp. But due to the higher cost of living outside of Pulenga, Betty has remained behind, and currently lives with 2 other adolescent girls in a small hut in the center of the camp. Betty has also followed the course of many young girls in the area and began sleeping with an older man, who already had 1 wife and 2 children. The man's first wife was not bothered with Betty's presence, as many northern Ugandan women in polygamous marriages often feel that having other wives around helps relieve some familial duties. But because it is actually legal for men to sleep with women under the age of 18, someone alerted local authorities, and the man fled. He left behind his wife, his 2 children, and Betty, who took on many of the duties of a second wife in helping to care for the children. Betty's life mirrors that of many girls from northern Uganda who have grown up in IDP camps. It is a life that was chosen for them the moment they were born women, a life that guarantees an endless amount of toil and hardship with very little payoff. One can only hope that peace will bring social development and change so that a girl like Betty will one day realize that choosing the role of a second wife at the age of 13 provides her with even less options than what she was born with. There does seem to be one key to unlocking a more equal space for women in a chole land, an answer that has proved true around the world: education. The fixer translator Akello Christine, with whom I worked closely while spending 6 days immersed in the female culture of IDP camp life, once casually mentioned to me, "Educate a girl, and you educate the whole nation." That simple yet powerful line holds so much truth. If you take the time to educate the women, the ones who help to create the culture and enable the survival of the Acholi people, the ones who are raising the next generation, then you are really educating the future. In many ways, it is the women who are the solution to understanding the aftermath of conflict and the rebuilding of a country. While masculine ideals of power and military forces invade and fought, life within the country still pressed on, mostly in part to the strong sense of family that was cultivated by these women. As rebuilding now occurs, the women are the ones who are keeping the culture together, and they are the ones that provide humanity in such trying times.